Hello, 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 and welcome. This is Oscar Hines. Welcome to the Cutting Edge. I am absolutely stoked and excited. This is going to be a great show. We're going to be going live. We're going, and I'm thinking I'm gonna be in some trouble with this gentleman here. But
what you talking about?
We are going to have a very interesting conversation with the legendary Mr. Emilian White is in the house. How are you, Emilian? How you doing, my dear brother?
As I like to say all the time, I'm simply marvelous. And thank you for having me.
Oh man, it's a pleasure. I'm pretty stoked, and this is going to be a bit of a different show. Now, for those of you who saw our program a few weeks ago, we had Mr. Emilian White on, and we were talking about the fact that you purportedly were patient zero in the COVID virus here
in my circle.
In your circle.
In my circle, right. I wasn't patient zero, but I was.
Not at all in Houston. Don't get mad at this man.
No, please. They be looking for me.
No. We don't want to call you the patient zero.
Oh, no.
But in your circle, and I just kind of wanted to touch that again just before we got into some of this other conversation, because that's a big conversation, and we were happy to see you made it through well. But so
it's a blessing, bottom line is because you see 100,000 people are dead because of this horrific virus, and I survived. Yes. Why I survived, God got another plan for me, but I'm here to talk about it, to preach my testimony.
Yes.
And to share my testimony with other people and try to help other people understand that a lot of people are taking this for granted, as you notice.
Yes.
On last Memorial Day, everybody and their mama, not everybody, but they're out clowning, having a good time, like this is nothing, and people are saying that, man, I ain't gonna get it. Okay, you don't know that.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know if you have it. You don't know if you asymptomatic,
mm-hmm.
and you can give it to somebody else. So that's the unfairness about it. With the selfishness from other people,
right? And
the fact that you might have it and give it to somebody else, but anyway.
And that's a big concern. But I mean, but what's the alternative if we're talking about people that are going to stay indoors? I mean, what do we do? In your opinion?
Well, I think it starts with leadership. If the leadership had to put their foot down and say, "Oh, we're going to eradicate this thing," or the leadership had said, months ago that we're going to keep the team, the CDC team, together and in place, so that just in case a pandemic happens, but the leadership is so arrogant and all about self, they don't care. They didn't care,
right?
And that's step one. But that's in the past. But right now, what are you going to do as a leader to stop this or to eradicate this disease, rather than talking about me, what I did, and then not taking the blame for anything.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not taking the blame for anything up in the White House.
Right.
This. Oof.
Yes.
Anyway.
Yeah. Look.
I've never seen that before. I'm an athlete. I'm a professional guy. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
Right.
If I made a mistake, I made a mistake. If I effed up, I effed up. It's my fault. So people look up to leaders who say, "Okay, well, I made a mistake, but this is what we're going to do. This is the next plan." And then you don't see that. It's just him over there. That's a bully. I ain't do it.
Yes.
To the first one. Wasn't me. Yeah, I hit you. Yeah, that's.
It reminds me of that song. It wasn't me. It was you on the bathroom floor. It wasn't me. So your people are right there watching this.
What? They act like people are stupid.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. So.
Well, so I mean, clearly it's a situation that doesn't go away tomorrow. It's going to be with us for a while, and I think people have to just take the precautionary measures, and that would be your advice, certainly.
Well, that's my advice. I'm not trying to preach gloom and doom. You handle life like you want to, but I know what I'm going to do. I am going to wear a mask. I got my little sanitizer over here.
Yes.
Right, stay away from me, Oscar.
Hey, look, we're keeping. You see, guys, we're keeping this social distancing going. We got 6 feet.
Right, don't be touching me. Don't be hugging me, because I don't want to go through that ever again, and I don't want to see my friends and family go through that mess. Being isolated in the hospital for 9 days. It's a bad experience.
Well, something that you said, Emilian, that struck me was when you talked about the lonely aspect of it, and all you could see was just the eyes of your caretakers.
Right. That's all you had. You see no body parts.
Yeah.
They are there in the hazmat PPE outfits, and it's like you're in a science fiction movie where they're just coming in and trying to get out as expeditiously as possible, so they can not get affected, because they're risking their lives to help save your life.
Yes.
And you got to keep that in mind. Wow, and like I said before, they're coming to the room, into my little suite. They change the gloves, and they do something to get some blood. Change the gloves. They changed. One nurse says she changed her PPE 13 times in a day.
Wow.
That is how contagious this thing is. And you don't want to get it no way, form, and you can get it, that easily.
Yes.
And so, one body part was showing. I said, your PPE's coming up. She said, let me
let me cover up.
Let me cover up.
That remind you of the ladies that wear burqas back then.
And that's how you saw.
Yes.
But you got to keep a good mental.
That's right.
Good mental state.
So I know that when you were in the heat of this whole thing, a lot of prayers, a lot of thoughts were going out. For those who are out there, some people don't think that makes a difference. What difference did it make for you?
It showed that people love me. You never really get a grasp of how people feel about you, but not that's important. But I got to pray to God, help get me through this. I know you're going to get me through this. This ain't it, so get me out of here,
Yes.
But, for him using me as a testimony, yes. Okay. And the prayers come from everybody, all the positive state of keep your mind in the positive. People out there love, people out there really care. People show love and care that I forgot existed. And they were coming from all out the woodwork. And I'm saying, my friend Al Heyman, one of the biggest black promoters in the country, in the world. Al Heyman, boxing promoter.
Yes.
He does Floyd Mayweather.
Yes.
Steve Harvey, friend from they call him. You calling me Steve? I ain't talked to you in a while.
Wow.
Get your out of bed.
Yeah.
God bless you. Right. So it was situations like that, that so okay, well, people care, and I'm thankful that they care. But my mindset too is, I got to get out and see my family.
Yes.
My wife and kids and my sisters and my cousins. I said I got to get out and see them.
Yes.
No, don't bring me no pictures. I told you that.
So you told her don't bring pictures.
No, yeah. The nurse said, "Well, we can get you some family pictures in here, so you won't feel like Don't bring it. I don't want this to be my home. It's gonna be my lesson. I'll see them pictures when I get home." Yeah. So it was just a situation like that, man. Wow. And you just got to keep a good mental state. Yes. I had my iPhone, of course, and I was reading through everything, and CNN, of course, was stuck on. My TV was stuck on CNN. I'm telling you, the whole time. The remote wouldn't work. I couldn't change the volume or the channel. So I was stuck on CNN. So I saw the numbers go up. And my thing was, I don't want to be a part of those statistics.
Yes.
The grave statistics, so.
That's an emotional toll. I can imagine how you're sitting there watching, this number rise every day. And unfortunately, as a media source, they feel like that keeps people locked in, tuned in, and they're going to spread a little gloom and doom in that space as well.
I was feeling sick, and I said, and I didn't know, I said, "Oh, you're gonna put me on a respirator ventilator so I can get some more oxygen?" Then I realized that, oh hell no.
That's right. No, you do not want to go on that respirator.
Oh, heck no.
I had a friend of mine who's a cardiopulmonary neuro specialist.
Right.
She's all the way up there, and she said the only time someone goes on a respirator is when they cannot breathe on their own.
Yeah,
and if you can still breathe, the respirator can kill you if you can still breathe.
You got to be intubated. Then you got the stick tube down the throat, and the constantly pumping. Oh no!
Yes.
I said,
yes.
I said, oh, forget that.
Yes.
So they gave me the little oxygen,
Right.
and so that helps your lungs. Then you got to start doing deep breathing.
Yes.
And there's a little machine, a volume meter, I think it's called, and you have to do the deep breathing treatment to expand the capacity of your lungs. So that's what I had to do, and I kept on doing, kept on. Now, my lung capacity is getting better and better and better.
Yes. Wow. So it really is a recovery process. It's not that you just leave the hospital and now you're 100% again.
No, you've been sick. You had pneumonia. I had pneumonia, man.
Yes.
It was like, okay, you see the picture of your lungs where it's like shaded white. And it's like, okay, you got to recover from that illness. And I'd never really been sick like that before.
Yes.
But thank God too, the way I take care of my body, with the diet and the exercise. I gotta exercise. I gotta, I eat the right foods, or try to drink a lot of water, and I think that helped my situation.
Yes.
Along with the cocktail that the doctors, Dr. Brown and Dr. Gath and Nurse J, got to give them some props.
Yes, props.
Right.
Yes,
right.
Much love. Wow. So as I think about that, you bring to mind something kind of critical we were talking about just the other day, how important it is. The people that are dying, from COVID-19 are high risk people in most cases, not exclusively.
Right.
There are some young people, etc. But by and large, when they look at Italy, when they look at the models in the different cities, New York City, a lot of it were seniors, but it was a high risk population, people that, suffered from diabetes, high blood pressure, COPD, autoimmune disorders.
Diabetes.
Yes. So one of the things you mentioned is you were leading a healthy lifestyle before this thing ever happened.
Oh yes. I tell you, I give all that to my grandmother. I saw the way my grandmother passed. It was about 40 years ago. And so she was a diabetic, first, and that was all because of diet.
Right.
So first, took the toe, then the foot,
right,
then the leg, then it went to the other side, and then it took the toe, the foot, the leg, and then she had a heart attack and passed away. I said, I don't want to live and die like that. I don't have to. I can do something about it now. So I changed my mindset and my regimen in terms of my diet. I stopped eating pork in college, then I stopped eating meat. And then I try to do a lot of vegetables and fruits and water and, stay away from sugars and flours and the pastas and all that crap as much as I possibly can. I like French fries now. But
a little indulgence, right?
But still on the other part, you gotta work for it. You got to work for something to achieve something. And my work is I got to exercise.
Yes.
Right. And my family has a tendency to be overweight.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't be a good look for me. 6'5.5" with a gut.
Yeah.
And not be able to fit I'm banging about my clothes now.
I'm with you on that. I decided a long time ago I would stay this size, and I lost 64 pounds 20 years ago and hadn't gained it back. Right. So, well, I'll tell you what, we're up against a break, and when we come back, I want to kind of switch gears here and talk more about some of this illustrious career that you had, ladies and gentlemen. I've called this man a legend once or twice, and saw his eyebrow raised. We getting ready to find out who's sitting here in a moment. You're listening to The Cutting Edge here on 1540 AM, 101.7 FM, and we're gonna take him to the edge when we come back. Mr. Emilian White is with us. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be back in a moment.
Playing a hero in the movies is being a hero in real life. Like the 50,000 veterans who returned from Iraq and Afghanistan with devastating injuries. They are true heroes, and they're why I'm proud to support Paralyzed Veterans of America. For more than 60 years, Paralyzed Veterans of America has made a promise to never leave a fallen comrade behind. They make sure veterans with spinal cord injuries get the quality medical care, rehabilitation, and housing they need when they come home. They stay with our fallen heroes for the long term, offering counseling, job training, and support to help them regain the freedom and independence they fought so hard for, all at no cost to them. Our veterans fought for us. Let's fight for them. To learn more about how you can help, visit pva.org. That's pva.org. We will never leave a fallen comrade behind.
Advertising doesn't cost you money, it makes you money.
Well, give us a call. 281-744-0446. 281-744-0446.
And we are back. I was kind of starting to groove to that song a little bit.
I was about to pull out my Shazam and see what that was.
That's right. That had that cool blues riff that we like. So I was digging that. So for those of you who are just joining us, this is the Edge Radio. This is the Edge Radio Network here on 1540 AM, 101.7 FM. We are talking to Mr. Emilian White. And for those who really don't know you, Emilian, one of the things that I have to say is that your name has resonated in the halls of radio for many, 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 many years. I heard your name, 15 years ago or something, man. Really? Just good things, though. Good things. Right. So can you back up a little bit here and tell folks a little bit about sort of how you started, how you cut your teeth in this industry, and then we're gonna talk about some of these extraordinary people you've met over the years. You're gonna give us a little dish on these folks, man.
Wow, man, 15 years, okay, but it's good. I'm glad you said that. You heard a lot of good things about me because I always try to stand on credibility and integrity, and that's number one. And be true to myself, be true to God, and true to others, because, if I said it, I said it, and if I did it, I did it, and if I can help you in any way, form, or fashion, I'm going to help you. And I always believe in trying to help somebody else come up, because somebody helped me along the way. And, my career started, Cleveland, Ohio, born and raised in Cleveland, Ohio. And a friend of mine, he was in radio. He was a child prodigy on WJMO in Cleveland. His name was Mike Love. Mm-hmm. He was so creative and so talented, and he had the whole city going. So I wanted to be a DJ. Mm-hmm. So I went to college at Kent State University, trying to be a DJ. So I had a radio program. I went to telecommunications. I had a radio program called the Brown Eyed Sugar.
Brown-eyed sugar.
Brown-eyed sugar.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm scared of you.
All right. And so I was having fun, and because I grew up in, with music, the Motown era, yes. All that, Temptations, Supremes, and, we imitate Supremes and all that stuff. And so in college, I wanted to be a DJ. My professor said, hey, man, DJs are a dime a dozen. He said, anybody can be a DJ? He said, but what you need to do with your personality is get into sales. I said, what? Busting my dream, man, come on. He said, no, man. And so I started pursuing sales. But in the meantime, I was around the circle with my friend, Mike Love all the time. And so I got to do things. And, I think part of it started when I wanted to see the Jackson 5. They came to town, and the Commodores were opening up for the Jackson 5. It was at the downtown Coliseum in Cleveland. Wow. And so I didn't have money because I grew up on the welfare plan, government cheese, powdered milk, canned peanut butter. For real. So I couldn't get in, but I said, I'm going out to get in some kind of way. I was persistent. And so somebody had broke a window in the second floor bathroom. And I saw people climbing up the side of the wall to get in. I said, oh, okay, this is my chance to get in. So I got in, and I was like front and center seeing the Jackson 5. back in the heyday. But,
wow.
but it's interesting, that moment really propelled. I said, wow, I like this. And then I was, a lot of friends of mine were in the industry, like Glenn Wright. I grew up around the OJs. I go to club and sit and talk with Eddie the Bird all the time. He's still a dear friend. And go over to his studio on, I think it was Miles Avenue. And where the kids, you see Gerald Levert growing up, and you see his other son, Sean Levert, growing up, and you see him. The name of the company was called Poppy, Doppy, Loppy, something. I said, Eddie, where you get that from? That's what he called his kids. But anyway, you grew up around them, and so it was interesting, the fact that I had the opportunity to, I'm to make a long story short, I had the opportunity to grow and get in the industry and work with Eddie Levert. Yes. And then work with Michael Jackson, help, I was there when Luther first started his career. Wow. And to meet people like Teddy Pendergrass, I was partying to the music of Barry White, and all of a sudden I'm at his house making cookies. Wow. I introduced Barry White to Frenchy Chicken.
Wow, look at that. Wow.
So,
that's awesome.
That's a funny story.
Well, so Barry discovered Frenchies because of you.
Oh yeah, that story is it was the black radio convention to come to town, every year down at the Hyatt. And so Barry, he was in attendance, and I had to take him around and stuff. And it's like 12, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and him and Glodine was sitting in the bed. They was hungry. I said, oh shoot. They was hungry.
Hungry. Like Les Brown said, he's hungry.
I said, you ever had some Frenchies? So no. I ain't never had Frenchies. So I said, let me go get some Frenchies. I'll be back. So, big line of Frenchies. So I had to go up there and get, I got it was a couple campus specials or something. I got a bunch of Frenchy chicken and French fries and the biscuits. Nice. I brought it back. They were sitting in the bed. They tore that chicken up. Oh, this is good chicken.
They knew the deal, man.
I ain't get any.
Oh, they weren't trying to give
no. So, my career has been interesting like that. The way I met Stevie Wonder. You grew up listening to Stevie, and all of a sudden, I'm in college at Kent State University, and I'm trying to sneak into the facility again because I don't have no money.
there's a theme developing here. All right.
I'm trying to go backstage, and so all of a sudden, a limousine pulls up with Stevie Wonder and his crew. And so I spend 2 hours before the show hanging with Stevie Wonder. He said, come on back such time. Well,
Man.
And I got.
Now you were with the radio station at that time. That's how you were getting access to these guys?
No, I wasn't with I was, it was a nighttime gig because I wanted to do it. But that only lasted so long. Right. But then I, changed my direction to sales. But, at that point, I was just trying to sneak into the concert.
To see these amazing people.
Right. And, then I wanted to pursue a career in radio sales. FM radio wasn't a big thing. It was AM radio. Yes. WJMO. Then, you heard the FM, the profound sound of FM. You go to New York and you hear BLS.
Oh, yeah.
WBLS. It's coming out of all the different speakers, and you're saying, what the heck is this?
I was in New York. I remember it. I remember when it launched, and I remember they were like, WBLS, the total black experience in sound.
And you hear the different speakers, music, and sound come. I said, what is that? We just had mono AM radio in Cleveland. I said, oh, shoot, I want to get into black FM radio. Yes. And so the position at Magic came up. And so, I was working at a top 40 station in Cleveland, and I sent my resume down, so they answered my resume, and I sent about 100 resumes out. Wow. And so, in KCOH answered as well. Yes. So, but anyway, I drove down here on my honeymoon.
On your honeymoon? You must have a loving, understanding wife, right?
What?
Loving, understanding wife.
It's first wife.
First wife. Well, she understood for a little while. She was done.
She's a good lady. A very good lady. My daughter got my first daughter.
Yes.
Vasimo. But anyway, and so the general manager said, a good guy, good candidate, but you got to talk to the owner. He's down in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I said, we're in Houston. I said, okay, tell him I'm on my way.
Wow.
So we drove from Cleveland to Houston.
To Fort Lauderdale.
to have that interview with him. He said, "Why, you really must want the job?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm here."
Yeah.
So Joy Material gave me the job.
Wow.
And that's what really got my big start in black radio, my start in black radio. And so that lasted, I was there for about 2 years at Magic, initially.
Okay.
Because I was a different kind of guy. Monty Lang came in and he was from the Bronx. And he was a brother in disguise, Jewish brother in disguise.
Yeah.
And so I was different. I was energetic, young, and he didn't understand my personality because I'm not in a cookie cutter personality. I can't be like you, I can't be like somebody else. Now I have my own personality, and I was a little bit skewed to the left, right, off center. Right. And he didn't understand, so he wound up firing me. Wow. And so as God would have it, he said, "I got a better plan for you." So that's when I got into CBS Records, and I stayed there for about 2-3 years. And that's when I got a chance to really meet everybody.
Some of these, the who's who of the royalty.
Then, it's interesting. I'm grown up idolizing these guys, and so all of a sudden I'm working with these people. I grew up with Eddie LeVert. Now, Eddie, you on my label, man? Okay, I'm working with Teddy Pendergrass.
Wow.
Barry White. I grew up there, and then all of a sudden I'm promoting Barry White. The Jacksons, Michael Jackson. I'm going to his house because okay.
Wow.
Right.
I saw that picture with you and the llama, and I don't know if we have some of those pictures. We'll roll as we're talking here. But then also a young Janet Jackson. I saw you and it looked like LaToya and Janet.
Yeah, because I was backstage a lot, and Al Heyman, he'd bring out the concerts to town.
Yes.
When I went back to Magic, and so I was doing all the entertainment. Monty Lane came back and hired me back to do entertainment for the station because I knew everybody. And so, Janet they would come through concerts, and I would be up there with her mom and LaToya.
Wow.
And I went to a couple of Grammys hanging out with Janet, LaToya, and nice. Michael, and the whole 9 yards. And it's been fun.
Yes. Yes. So when you are in the space of these individuals, obviously, they're human like anybody else. But
right.
What are there notable characteristics that you see that's kind of a constant throughout the connection?
They're people just like everybody else, and they want to have fun just like everybody. Michael was fun; he liked to have fun, and so after we went out to his house in Encino to do the interview, and after the interview was over, he was going to see a girl. So we jumped in his car.
Wow.
Right. They're people. They need their space. They need their time. They got creative side, but sometimes they want to step out of that. Oh, I'm an entertainer, and just be themselves.
Right.
Right. So, Eddie was a lot of fun with his cussing and fussing self.
Eddie Murphy.
No.
Eddie LeVert.
I met Eddie Murphy too, man.
Did.
I played basketball with Eddie LeVert one day. Eddie Murphy one day.
Wow.
Right, him and his crew.
Wow.
So
wow.
I met a little bit of everybody. Somebody just sent me a picture the other night, and I forgot about it. I was with Don Cornelius.
Oh.
At the
Soul Train.
Yeah. Wishing you peace, love, and soul.
That's right. That's good stuff.
Wow. It's been a fun career. I didn't, man. And you look back at it and you say, okay, wow, I did that. I was that person, and I forgot that I was with Don Cornelius. Man. And people say, you were Michael Jackson, you were with Vanessa Williams. Yeah.
I'll tell you.
You were the Luther.
Those pictures are impressive. I mean, you've been with the royalty. So I want to dive into that a little bit more, folks. You're listening to the Edge Radio Network. I am talking to Mr. Emilian White, who has had an illustrious career in radio. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation and find out the dish on some of these celebrities.
We'll be back in a moment. Oh God. Yeah, well.
Who's gonna tell you when it's too late? Who's gonna tell you things aren't so great? You can't go on nothing's wrong. But who's gonna drive you home tonight? Who's gonna pick you up when you fall? Who's gonna hang it up when you call? Who's gonna pay attention to your dreams? Yeah, who's gonna plug your ears when you scream? You can't go on thinking nothing's wrong.
And we are back. This is The Cutting Edge. And I'm here with Mr. Emilian White. We're having a great conversation, man.
How about that?
All I'm missing right now, man, is a cold beer. I'd be hanging out with you, brother, because you are got some stories, man. So
Let me tell you about them stories. I got a lot of stories, but there's a lot of them I can't tell.
that's the ones I want to hear. That's the one over the cold beer.
Can't tell, man. It's like, oh, you did, huh? What?
Yes.
I was in the record industry back in the day when everything was sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Yeah. Well, see, that's what I was going to get to, because a good friend of both of us, I think, or at least of a man with a great deal of mutual respect, is Mr. Paris Ely. I love Paris. I love Paris. I told Paris one time, I said, man, if I ever run across somebody that say they don't like you, then I know they got a mental illness.
Right.
Because I've never met anyone that don't like
Paris is a great individual. He's like got an Einstein mentality. He threw some words at us. Well, he was our boss,
Yeah.
And he would throw words at you that, what the heck?
Yeah. I told him, I said to him, I said, I am a wordsmith. I am undeniably, I know words myself. And I said, you're the only man I have ever met that sent me to my thesaurus more than once.
Right.
Because he is.
And the white dudes loved him. The corporate white dudes,
yes,
they loved him because he threw some words at them that they couldn't even pronounce and understand.
Yeah, I don't know how he does it, man. But and then he's also got an encyclopedic brain when it comes to many of the performers and the nuances of some of the different aspects. So during the sex, drugs, and rock and roll era, I want to get back to that.
Oh man!
All right, so you're a tall, handsome brother. You out there.
Me back in the day, man.
Oh no, I saw. Hey man, I saw those pictures.
I was a mess back in the day. Thank God.
They threw a little holy water on you. So what was that game? As much as you can reveal, but what was that game like? I mean, so here you're hanging out with Stevie Wonder, Michael Jackson's coming in, Barry White, Teddy Pendergrass, who I understand was a bit of a player too, right? So what was all that? What was that like?
I'm behind the scenes. I'm not the star. I'm behind the scenes, but even when you're behind the scenes, women coming at you.
You get some crumbs off the table.
Right. I would accept women. And I try to carry myself and be nice to everybody, but not that I'm trying to be abusive to women or take advantage, but you can't say no to some of them. They say, okay, yeah, come on. Do you want me? Although I was tall, dark, and handsome, that's what they say.
Yeah.
Women came after me and said, oh.
So what did that sound like? I mean, how did that proposition?
I want to sleep with you.
I want it straight up. They would just straight up say,
I want to sleep with you.
Damn.
Right. Yeah. You big hands, big feet, tall, drinking water. And I carry myself well, you know. And I wasn't, I'm a mama's boy at heart, so I didn't want to be like I'm taking advantage of women or abusing. I'll wine you, dine you, I take you out. I had a green American Express card from the company, so I had a budget,
Sure.
a meal budget, and so okay, let's go eat. Have a nice time, but I ain't, I don't like fours. I ain't dinner. Okay,
Yes.
okay, I want to sleep with you, huh?
Yeah. And then you were like, okay, let's go. Let's wrap this up.
And these weren't no raggedy women. It was like, okay, right.
These were some 8, 9s, and 10s, maybe, huh?
12s.
12s?
Right.
Damn. Okay.
And so, but I'm, you're in the industry too, and you got it's a persona about you that
Right.
oh, he's with the record. Oh, he's walking in with Barry White. He's walking in with so and so. And so a lot of times I walk into a club with an artist, like I'm walking in the club with Vanity and Morris Day.
Yeah, I saw Morris Day and Vanity.
Right.
That's a great
and
show.
So Emilian White's in the house. Hey, Emilian White from so and so and so. Okay. I'm just doing my job, but I'm not thinking about not egotistically about it. I'm just I'm just having a good time with them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say, speaking of Morris, that one of the best parties I've ever been to was in concerts with Billy Sparks invited me up to go see Prince.
So Billy Sparks, I'm trying to remember, what is it, Caribbean Queen? Is that
no, Billy Sparks? He's with he's managing Prince.
Right,
Prince.
Okay.
And so he said, okay, we're doing a thing at Madison Square Garden. Come on up. I said, okay. And so it was Prince, The Time, Vanity. And so I got a chance to go to Madison Square Garden and see them. Then the after party was at the Paradise Garage in New York. It was about the size of
they're
the
huge.
Toyota Center. It was
right. There's some people that don't know New York would have like warehouse districts that would be converted into clubs, the Palladium, and some of those clubs were massive.
This was stupid massive, man. So I'm up there partying with in the suite upstairs with Prince and Vanity and Morris Day and the Time, and we having a good time. And so I look down and I see this big old arena area. I said, let me go down there and hang out. And so it's just party, thumping, party. I'm partying by myself. And so all of a sudden I look up and there's a house coming out of the ceiling.
An actual house.
A whole house. I said, what the hell? So I've had that kind of fun. Going to Paisley Park for the 1999 party. That was an experience.
That's
going to the Grammys and then going to the after party for Michael Jackson at the Museum of Natural History. Right.
Wow.
And that was a party.
Wow.
That was a first class party, and just little instances like that,
So the party with Michael Jackson, Museum of Natural History is big too. It's big.
Yes.
So they converted that venue
into a party. My friend TC, my dear friend now, he's still here in Houston. He used to work under Paris, and he hired me. For the first time he met me, he tried to fire me. But now we got a 40-year relationship.
Wow.
Friendship. And so he got me to the party. He got me to see Michael Jackson and things like that. So at his house for the interview. But anyway, that party was the bomb.
Man.
And I see some of the parties now and I say, okay, well, I've been to a few myself, But you don't look at it like that. It's like I'm just doing the job.
Yeah. Well, what's remarkable is that when you've touched so many people, I guess to some extent you get a little desensitized to, I obviously don't have the type of career that you've had, but I remember when I started working with KCOH here in Houston, and I had a moment maybe a couple of weeks in where I was told, hey man, we need someone to go over to the Toyota Center. So I said, sure, okay. I've done correspondent type stuff. So I go to the Toyota Center and I'm escorted down to the Lexus Lounge. I didn't even know the Lexus Lounge existed, right? And then we sit down, they've given us cocktails, and all of a sudden, Idris Elba just comes up, and I look at him and he says, hey man, you're sitting alone? I sat down with him and he says, oh, I just got my girl pregnant and she's American and she's talking about this caving thing, or where they stay inside with you, and he explains this. He says, I think I might like that. And then after he says that, I'm thinking, man, and he goes, "Oh, by the way, no one knows my girl's pregnant. Don't tell them. don't tell
They're
the
regular
press.
people.
They're regular
people. They want to
Yes.
be treated as regular people. But but one thing I learned from the industry is I try to keep my ego in check. You know, not that I'm all that in a bag of chips and all that. You know, and I got that from one of the most quiet, nonchalant, one of the richest guys in the industry was Al Heyman.
Yes.
Right. We're backstage. It's his concert. He's doing the venue, and the security guy, they don't know who he is or who I am, and they said, "Oh, y'all got to move back. You got to move back. And so Al just moved back. Just stepped out the way. I said, Al, don't you want to tell him who you are? And he said, no, I ain't got to do that. I know how I am.
Yeah.
And so I said, oh, that's a good point. And I try to live by that. To keep your ego in check.
Yes.
You ain't got to go flaunting, and people assume that you're somebody, or they want us to try. But when I step into a room, now I'm confident in who I am.
Yes. Yes.
And I've walked in a lot of places, but just with the confidence, people assume that you're somebody. Mm-hmm. And I just keep on walking. I don't have a badge or credential to first. No, but my point is, I always try to, not egotistical, but I'm this and I'm that. No, because I'm regular. I was just having fun. I didn't think about it as a career, and then you look back and they say, okay, you was with Michael Jackson.
Yes.
You was with the llama.
That's right. I saw the llama. I'm like, man, you were hanging out with the little monkey and the llama that Michael had.
What?
Yeah.
What you did? Okay, that's Janet.
Man.
Yeah, man. Prince. Okay.
So it amazes me, and I just have to say, as a person of color, the tremendous, immeasurable contributions of African Americans to music, to the music industry.
Right.
In fact, the backbone of music in this country can largely rest on the shoulders of African Americans. And
period.
Yes. So two things. One is, you can expound on that a little bit, but also I want to talk a little bit about all this craziness that's going on right now in the world and what we're seeing in terms of the U.S. and this whole thing.
Right.
But with regard to your observation of the African American contribution to music, give us your thoughts.
Everything. We're creative. We're very creative race of people. We take nothing and make it into something. To plow those fields. Back in the day, we had to survive, and so our way of surviving was communicating one another through a song, or through rhythm. We bought that rhythm, and then we bought style from our African ancestors. They have rhythm and style.
Yes.
And so that manifests itself into something else, and so we start being creative with, and so they'll take it, somebody else take it and steal it. So, oh wow, that's good. Let me put it in my song.
Yes.
We've influenced our style and rhythm and beats have influenced a little bit of everybody.
True.
Right. Rock and roll, the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, blues,
jazz,
everything. We've influenced, and so we don't get credit for it, or somebody will come along and take it. Take our wealth, and but the rap. Hip hop, all music today, just about, on the popular radio, they got some type of rap or hip hop or some type of rhythm and rhyme, and not that they don't, their music kind of bland. Even the gospel, when the gospel music, so the spiritual music, so there's been a lot of
So I remember watching the movie Ray. And I love that movie, and I thought Jamie Foxx, man,
I met Jamie.
Brilliant. Oh, you met Jamie. That dude's talented.
Oh, Jamie Sabell.
Man, but he channeled Ray Charles. I watched Ray Charles in that movie. I didn't watch Jamie Foxx. The way he talked, his mannerisms. So that
gotta make it do what it do, baby.
That's right. I loved it, and I loved that a little bit of that history was right here in Houston when he met his wife right down on Alameda Avenue there, KCOA.
Oh yeah. The thing about Jamie though, I had known Jamie for a long time, watched him grow in the industry, and he was always cordial, nice, and everything. He's always been that way, friendly, and there was a gap in terms of he was doing a concert before Ray, and I went up to him. I said, "Hey man, what's up? Remember me?" He said, "Yeah man, I remember you. What's up?" And we started talking. It was just like we never miss a spot.
Wow.
And so then he did Ray, and so I had the chance to go take pictures and interview right before Ray.
Nice.
And he was the same guy. He said, "Man, you want this bottle of liquor, man?" That's all right. He's very, very, very nice and friendly, man. One of the nicest guys you want to meet. But so talented, man.
Yes.
He had the talent, and he's a comedian, but he wanted to be a singer.
He's an amazing singer.
Right.
He really is.
He said, "Okay, I'm gonna take this a step further."
Yes.
You see him when he used to do was it Wanda or what name?
Yeah. I know what you're on Living Color. On Living Color. Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Right. He was an incredible talent, man. So but he's also a nice guy.
So now let me ask you this, because you got me by a few years, but we saw the emergence of rap music come on the scene, and it is a formidable and powerful emergence. But there's a lot of, and I had a group of rappers here. Oh yeah, back in the day.
Right.
So now there's a whole cadre of gangster rappers and a lot of demeaning lyrics and different things like that. I mean, what's your thoughts around what rap music, what it's progressed to become today?
Well, some of those kids are fake rappers. They're just trying to do something. I got a friend of mine, I ain't saying his name, but his son, he's a broadcaster. He got a son. He's trying to do some gangster rap. He said, "What you know about gangster rap?"
You live in the suburbs. Get a grip.
Right. What you know about gangster rap? So they try to imitate what's popular, and they don't know what they're talking about. They MF this and so some of it's fake, but you get some of life skills of being in the streets. And they're expressing the life that they live, the Biggies and the Tupacs. This is the life that they live.
Yes.
They can relate, selling drugs and getting shot at or beating somebody down. They really lived it. But some of these kids, they don't know what the heck they're talking about. They're just imitating somebody else. Want to wear your pants down below. Come on, man. You know what wearing your pants down really mean?
Yeah. That's right.
And that kind of stuff. And so some of it's fake, but a lot of it's real, real life, and that's where you communicate. And sad thing about it, a lot of these kids were taken advantage of, showing professing who they were on the record,
Right.
So, you got a good record. Oh, they like that in the street. Okay, sign to my label. You know what you're doing. Okay, but I can become a star. This manager makes all the money, and you go broke.
Yes, and we see that happen over and over again.
Right.
So with the current crisis, we have George Floyd. There's tragedy in Minneapolis that just took place, and
unnecessary.
So many, and people like LeBron James, who speaks out vehemently about this whole situation. I mean, what's how do we bridge this divide, because it seems like this is getting deeper, not getting better?
Well, these are my thoughts. These are my own personal feelings. Pressure will bust a pipe. You're only going to take something so long. If there's any kind of abuse, if there's abuse in your household, abuse in the streets, abuse from a bully, you're only going to take so long before you fight back. If we accepted abuse during slavery time, we would still be enslaved.
Right.
And so, okay, enough is enough. You saw it. If it wasn't for, thank God for video.
Right.
Thank God for video that we are able to see what actually happened. Now, how many cases like that do you have?
That's the point.
Right.
That's the exact point.
Right. How many cases like that do you have that people have gotten away with?
Right.
Right. There's probably hundreds of cases that we didn't see. The Arby case. What was the reason for shooting him?
Right.
There was no rhyme or reason for shooting him or killing that man, and then try to sweep it up under the rug. But see, the thousands of cases that happen, this is one that we caught on tape, and they're saying, "Oh, why are you rioting?" We're tired. You were tired of the Trayvon Martin situation.
Yes.
What's my guy's name in St. Louis?
Right.
All those situations, Brown.
Right. Trayvon.
Right. All those situations that white cops beat us down, and they get away with it. Okay, now we're tired. This is going to keep on happening, or we got to do something. You got to do something about it. And then it starts from the top too. If the White House would say, okay, they're a good side. There are people on both sides. That, if they would say, stop this madness, so I can rebuild the country and I can get the country together. But there's division in the country right now, and so people thinking that okay, we're not together. And this side, you want to fight against this side, and it's going to be a revolt. And there's going to be a revolt some way, somehow. You're going to rebel against the bully. You're going to rebel against the system. You're going to fight the power, fight the system, because you're tired of being put down, beat down, and run over. And it happens through society over and over and over again. And this is that time right now. I'm not saying that that's the way to do it. No, I believe in peaceful presentation, but then again, they're not listening to you when you do it peacefully. Rodney King.
It started way back. It started way back then. I think the challenge is that, as you mentioned, the leadership has to take a different direction, and people also have to get to this place where they recognize that who you put in office matters,
right?
And that has been a big challenge politically. They've always acquiesced, and this stuff continues to go on. So it's sad,
right? But so you got to do something about it. It made no sense that the guy you saw him with his knee on Mr. Ford's
neck,
with
his hand in his pocket,
like he is enjoying, like he is, he was. Doing
that was a total power trip.
Right, total power. And you're doing it. You just said that you killed the guy, you murdered the guy, and now you get to go home, and they put him into, they took someplace, I don't know, and he's not arrested. If they would have arrested the guy, at least arrested the guy, you might not have the situation, but say, okay, you're fired. That's not enough.
That's right.
He needed to be arrested and convicted or put on trial for this crime.
That's right.
And then the other three cops who are around him, okay, what's the deal with that? Somebody, and then, Klobuchar,
Klobuchar
check, whatever, then he put her in check. Because she knew how demonstrative this guy was before.
Oh, yeah, he had a history.
He got a history.
Yeah.
The other guy, the Asian guy, had a history.
Yeah.
And nothing was done. But but like I said, eventually, if I'm gonna beat you down as a bully, you're gonna get tired. And that's what the cops are doing. They're beating people down in the streets. They're beating a certain sect, black people, not the other side. It's some irregularities there.
Sure.
And so I'm gonna get tired, man. You're gonna keep beating me down. I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna rise up, and that's what's happening. We're starting to rise up all over the country. They're rising up.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, we're rising up.
Right.
Not just blacks, but all different races are getting tired of being beat down.
Conscientious whites as well. And I've got good friends of all races that find this deplorable. So I don't like to ever vilify a race. I think it's a group of people and the way that they think. But that
mentality, that racist mentality,
and
that
that's the sad part. It is a mentality.
Part. And so what I've been told is that rather than the KKK wearing sheets, they can infiltrate the ranks. They don't have to hide anymore.
That's right.
Right. So if I'm a police officer, or I'm a police chief, or I'm in the Senate or Congress, or I'm a politician, okay, I can still do my hate, but you'll never know where it's coming from.
Absolutely. And it can be more covert that way as well. Right. So folks, for those of you who've joined us this hour, you have probably enjoyed how quickly this time goes by, but you've probably been enjoying this gentleman to my left here.
Okay.
Believe it or not, we are at an hour. We could continue this conversation. But folks, let me ask you, how do folks connect to you? projects? What's next for Emilian White?
Oh, it's in the can. It's coming. Support my wife and kids. That's number one. And thank God I'm here. And try to help with my testimony, telling people, putting out my testimony, brother. Telling people, to be safe with this horrific virus out there. Wear masks, wash your hands, wear gloves, sanitize in the whole 9 yards, because it's not going away not too soon. Yes. Right. And this new generation don't have a clue. Mm-hmm. And so, but I got some things I'm working on. So you'll see shortly.
Outstanding.
All right, and pushing my wife to help her stand.
For those who don't know, Miss Kim is amazing, and she was one of the architects that really helped produce the Steve Harvey Morning Show. Did an amazing job with that.
Steve Harvey Show, show.
The Steve Harvey Show, yes.
TV show, right?
Yeah, that's amazing. 3
Emmys.
Three Emmys.
Right, she did.
Kim, you go, girl.
Yeah, right. Was Great Day Houston.
That's right.
Judge Alex.
That's right.
Texas Justice. Wow. Now, what she's doing now? She's doing Girlfriends Check-In.
Ooh.
She's helping to produce that along with Kathy Sapp. It comes on Saturday nights nice. On OWN.
Nice,
on Oprah
nice.
Winfrey Network. So
wow.
Right. She got a hand. She just did the deal with Beyonce and Tina Knowles, to help people get tested, and that was great. That was a great turnaround. So
that is outstanding. Well, much love to her and what she does. Amazing talent, and to you, sir. We're happy you're here. There's a reason you're here, and we're going to continue to get that light to shine.
Hey, man, so I can help and share with others and help other people, bro.
Absolutely.
Like this gentleman over there. Look at you. Look at you.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us. Emilian's commenting. We got Miss Amber Neal in the house. Today is Comedy Friday, right? So we got a comedian. He was banging down the door before. We're gonna embarrass. We're gonna call him out, man. And then I heard this bull. No, I'm just kidding, man. All right, it's gonna be fun. So Amber Neal is up next. Matchmaker Hotline. Don't go anywhere, folks. You've been listening to the Edge Radio Network.
Lovely, talented, and beautiful Amber. Ooh, yeah.
and Mr. Emilian White, thank you so much for coming
Thanks
in.
For having me.
We enjoyed this conversation. All right. Well, we are wrapping this up. Thank you for joining us, folks. We appreciate it.
Want to say it's my turn.
There you go. Hey, have I lost control, or can I close this radio show so I can get Miss Amber Neal up here? All right, folks.
This has been Emilian Whiteout.
It is Friday.
Emilian Whiteout. That's y'all. Get back. Stand down.
Thank you so much for joining us, folks. Stay tuned. Edge Radio Network, 1540 AM, 101.7 FM, and disruptive individuals in the house. Thank you so much. Stay tuned for Amber Neal.
Two, three, they gonna run back to me, 'cause I'm the best baby that they never gotta keep. 1, 2, 3, they gonna run back to me. They always wanna come, but they never wanna